It began again on the eve of the New Yam Festival, when the drums of the ancestors echoed across the hills, and the smell of roasted maize filled the air. That night, Chukwuma sat alone beneath the sacred Oji tree, offering kola to the spirits in thanks. He broke the nut gently, whispering the old prayers, but before the pieces could even fall to the earth, he heard a voice. "Chukwuma, son of the blood that lied, why have you come?" Chukwuma sprang to his feet, heart pounding. He looked around. No one was there, only the heavy, breathing darkness of the forest beyond the square. He knelt again. Perhaps it was the spirits playing tricks, honoring the sacred night. But then the voice came again, louder, deeper, closer. "Chukwuma, the kola speaks once more, but not every voice is truth. Will you listen, or will you fall, as your father fell?" Continuation from part 1. The Kolanut lied, and the gods turned their faces away. Crops withered, children wept in sleep, and shadows whispered of betrayal. Only one boy, bearing the blood of a disgraced elder, could confront the curse. Under the sacred tree, he broke the kola and summoned a truth that shook the ancestors. His name is Chukwuma. Years passed. The name of Chukwuma, the boy who freed Ndiuno from the curse, became legend. He grew into a tall, strong man, known for his wisdom, his fairness, and the strange glow that seemed to follow him wherever he walked. Some said he had been marked by the spirits themselves. Some whispered that the blood of his father, both cursed and cleansed, had given him sight beyond sight. Whatever it was, Ndiuno entered a golden age under Chukwuma's leadership. But peace, like a clay pot left in the sun too long, can crack. It began again on the eve of the New Yam Festival, when the drums of the ancestors echoed across the hills, and the smell of roasted maize filled the air. That night, Chukwuma sat alone beneath the sacred Oji tree, offering kola to the spirits in thanks. He broke the nut gently, whispering the old prayers, but before the pieces could even fall to the earth, he heard a voice. "Chukwuma, son of the blood that lied, why have you come?" Chukwuma sprang to his feet, heart pounding. He looked around. No one was there, only the heavy, breathing darkness of the forest beyond the square. He knelt again. Perhaps it was the spirits playing tricks, honoring the sacred night. But then the voice came again, louder, deeper, closer. "Chukwuma, the kola speaks once more, but not every voice is truth. Will you listen, or will you fall, as your father fell?" Shaking, Chukwuma gathered the kola pieces and returned home. But that night, as he slept, he dreamed of the old forests beyond Igbo Ukwu, where the first kolanut was said to have been born, guarded by spirits too ancient for men to name. In his dream, a figure waited beneath a tree bigger than any he had ever seen. A woman with a face hidden behind a mask of white clay. She held out a kolanut that burned like fire. "Come," she whispered. "Come and find the voice beneath the tree." Chukwuma woke with a start, drenched in sweat. He knew the spirits were calling him. A test was coming. But what test? And why? The next day he summoned his closest companions. Ikenna, the fierce wrestler, Obiagali, the wise woman, and Nana, the storyteller whose songs could make even the trees weep. "I must journey to the old forests," Chukwuma said. "The spirits demand it." The three exchanged worried glances. "No one goes beyond Igbo Ukwu," warned Obiageli. "Not without leaving something behind." Still they agreed. The fate of Ndiuno was too precious. And so, at the rising of the second moon, they set off, carrying only gourds of water, yam cakes wrapped in banana leaves, and a single kola nut each for protection. The forest swallowed them. The air grew thick, sweet with the scent of unseen flowers. The trees grew taller, older, their roots knotted like the backs of ancient men. Strange birds sang songs without words. For 3 days and nights, they walked. And on the fourth night, under a blood-red moon, they reached it. The tree. It was larger than any tree of Indiuno, larger than the great Iroko, taller than the tallest palm. Its bark shimmered like wet stone. Its branches twisted into the sky like arms crying for mercy. Beneath it sat the woman from Chukwuma's dream, mask still on, her long fingers playing with a glowing kolanut. "Welcome, Chukwuma," she said, though her lips never moved. "You have come to hear the voice, but not all voices tell truth. Will you listen? Will you choose?" Without waiting for an answer, she threw the kola at his feet. "Break it." Chukwuma hesitated. He remembered the story of his father, the poison, the lie, the broken trust. He knelt, picked up the burning kola, and spoke the ancient words. "Oji anagi asi asi, if I am pure, let truth be known." He cracked the nut. Instead of splitting, the kola dissolved into a cloud of red smoke. Within the smoke, two voices spoke. One said, sweet and smooth, "Return home, all is well, forget the forest, enjoy your days." The other voice, rough and broken, said, "Danger walks behind you. Indiuno is not safe. An enemy has risen within." Chukwuma realized he must choose. If he listened to the first voice, he could return to peace, easy, safe. If he followed the second, he might find enemies in his own home, danger, betrayal, even death. Chukwuma looked at his friends. Ikenna clenched his fists. Obiageli's eyes were sharp with fear. Anana whispered a prayer. Then Chukwuma, voice steady, declared, "Truth is never the easy road." He chose the second voice. The woman nodded. Her mask cracked open, revealing a face not of a woman, but of many faces. Old, young, male, female, all the ancestors who had ever lived, watching, judging. "You have chosen well," the many voices said. "But know this, the enemy you seek is one you call brother." And with that, the tree shook its mighty branches. The earth swallowed the glowing kola. The journey home began. But home would never be the same again, because hidden among the smiling faces of Indiuno, a darkness waited. And Chukwuma would have to face not just betrayal, but a lie more terrible than even his father had ever told. When Chukwuma and his companions returned to Indiuno, the village was alive with celebration. Drums thundered across the hills. Children danced. Women sang the song of heroes. The elders lifted carved staffs in greeting. "Welcome home, Chukwuma the Wise," they called. "Welcome, slayer of curses." But Chukwuma's heart was heavy. He had heard the warning beneath the sacred tree. The enemy was not in the forests. The enemy was among them, one they called brother. For days he watched. He watched how Ekin, his childhood friend and now commander of the night guards, had built himself a compound larger than the chief's. He watched how Ifeoma, the merchant, had begun whispering to traders from across the river at night. He even watched Azumena, old and respected, who sometimes stared into the sacred fire as if haunted by unseen hands. But there was one who stood too close, one who smiled too easily, one who had everything to gain if Chukwuma fell. His own cousin, Ugonabo. Ugonabo had been raised in the same hut. They had shared the same bowl of yam. They had hunted side by side. But where Chukwuma was spirit-marked, Ugonabo was spirit-ignored. No vision, no calling, no blessing. And deep in Ugonabo's chest, where blood should be warm, something cold had taken root. One night, under the full moon, Chukwuma stood before the village council. "I have returned from the sacred forest," he said. "The kola has spoken again. We are not yet safe. There is a lie, still among us." A gasp. "Who would dare betray Indiuno now?" asked Obiageli. Chukwuma looked at them all and said nothing. He knew if he accused the wrong person, he would divide the village. He needed truth, not suspicion. He needed the spirits to speak once more, and so he called for the trial of Oji. In the trial of Oji, all must break the kola before the ancestors. If your hands are clean, the nut breaks sweet. If you lie, the nut bleeds. One by one they came. Ekene broke the nut, sweet and white. Ifeoma, clean. Azoimena, clean, though his hand trembled. Finally, Ugonabo stepped forward. He smiled, too wide, too calm. He took the nut, raised it high, and said, "I am Ugonabo, son of Umelu, cousin to Chukwuma. I have served this land with strength and loyalty. Let the kola reveal my truth." He cracked it, and the nut bled, red as fire, thick as oil, screaming from within. "Liar!" someone cried. But Ugonabo laughed, and from the shadows behind him, men stepped forward, warriors dressed not in the colors of Indiuno, but in black and ash. "Fools," Ugonabo said, voice no longer smiling. "You worship Chukwuma as if he were a god, but gods fall, and tonight, so does this village." The warriors attacked. The sacred fire was kicked over. The drums of joy became drums of war. But Chukwuma was ready. From his pouch, he drew the final kola, the one given to him by the masked woman of the tree. He cracked it open and whispered, "Ojin ke ikpeazu, last kola, reveal all." And the nut became flame. The flame became wind. The wind became spirits of the ancestors, rising like a storm across the village square. Ugonabo screamed. The warriors dropped their blades. Voices from beyond the grave shouted, "He who lies in blood shall drown in truth." The spirits tore through the traitors, scattering them like dry leaves. When it was over, Ugonabo lay bound before the shrine, weeping, broken. "Why?" asked Chukwuma, kneeling beside him. Ugonabo looked up, eyes full of rage and regret. "Because they chose you." "I didn't choose the spirits," Chukwuma said, "but I chose truth, and you chose to lie." And with that, Ugonabo was banished into the deep forest, never to return. From that day, the people of Ndiuno changed how they broke the kola. Now before it's cracked, they ask, "Shall we speak truth, or shall we lie?" And the people always answer, "Truth, even when it hurts," because they will never forget, the brother of lies. But wait, is that truly the end? As the dust settles at Ndiuno and the echoes of battle fade, a deeper shadow begins to stir, one that no kola nut can reveal and no spirit dares to name. For in the deepest part of the forest, something else was listening, and while Ugonabo may be gone, his lie was only the first crack. What Chukwuma thought was victory may have been only the beginning of a war older than Ndiuno itself. Who truly guides the spirits? And what price must be paid for truth that burns like fire? Part 3 will unravel secrets that even the ancestors feared to speak. What did you learn from Chukwuma's choice? From Ugonabo's fall? And from the voice beneath the tree? Let us know in the comments. Like this story? Share it with others. Subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. It will be mind-blowing. And always remember, the kola does not lie. Part 3 is coming. And this time, not everyone in Ndiuno will return. Are you ready?